the question, I think, is more, should that be the direction that things go? And I'll use elections as an example. You've got people who believe that the state is doing a great job on elections, but then you get evidence that there are problems from other states, and you see the weaknesses in the system. I'm a CPA, so I'm always looking for the weakness in the system. I'm not so concerned about the individual irregularities that are discovered, but the inherent weaknesses that are underlying those things. So you want to get a system that works. As much as people love their mail-in ballot, as much as people love the machines, sometimes you say, you know what, we're going back to in-person voting, paper ballots at your precinct level with a voter ID, and you go and you vote, and they count it at the precinct level, and it's like, okay, we can at least go back to that, because everything else that's been built up over that time seems to have weaknesses in the system that could be exploited, and then the question is, are they being exploited? And you're not sure, because you can't look at it, you can't audit it. That's off limits. So I guess the same thing when we're talking about water. If you found out that the same people that are pushing the Red Rock Wilderness Bill, because they want to lock up the minerals for whatever global purpose they have in mind, if those same people are the ones that are affecting the Division of Natural Resources and the Water Board and the UEOC, and that the policies are getting pushed into our system because of nefarious people that are involved, then you would say, as much as I like the efficiencies that come from centralization, I don't trust these people. And sadly, we have nefarious actors. There are people who genuinely have an agenda, and they're working to infiltrate. We see it in our judicial system. We see it in the IRS. We see it in places that's like, okay, I don't know how many strikes you get until people say, we're not centralizing that anymore. We don't trust that system. A governor who understands that strong systems need to be in place before you can empower the people to oversee those resources, I think, is important. And until they're in place, it's got to stay decentralized. And I don't know that you could, in our society, until someone much better than you and I is running the whole show. I mean, I wouldn't trust myself to be in charge of all your resources, and yet somehow politicians, I don't know if it's if there's a narcissist element that's like, oh, I know better for you what you should do with your children or your resources or your water or your land or your